Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys reveal fate of $34 million QB at NFL Scouting Combine. The Dallas Cowboys quarterback situation has remained tumultuously steady over the past decade since the somewhat seamless transition from Tony Romo to current franchise QB, Dak Prescott. The Cowboys signed Prescott to a league record 4-year, $240 million deal last offseason, which he promptly followed up with below-par performances before suffering a season-ending hamstring injury this past November. This was Prescott's third season out of the last 5 in which he has missed 5+ games, bringing the necessity of having a strong backup option firmly into the spotlight. And with the team tied to Prescott for at least the next 2 years, Dallas cannot simply go out and find a less injury-prone QB1. With current QB2, Cooper Rush, likely to depart in free agency, having demonstrated his ability as one of the premier backups in the NFL once again in 2024, there is a gap on the team's depth chart at backup quarterback, one that, in theory, could be filled by former number 3 overall pick, Trey Lance. Lance, whom the Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers for, back in 2023, has had few opportunities presented to him in Dallas, having spent his entire tenure in Texas behind both Prescott and Rush on the depth chart. Lance likely headed for the exit door in Dallas. Instead of taking this opportunity to re-sign Lance on the cheap as a high-ceiling backup, it seems that Cowboys ownership has seen enough of their QB3, per insider, David Moore, of the Dallas Morning News. "We took a shot at Trey and wanted to do that," EVP Stephen Jones told Moore at the Combine on Monday. "We think the world of Trey. But us having Dak signed up for the long term, I think he's probably going to be looking for something different." Jones then notes that he would also like to bring in a young QB to develop, although in an ideal world, they would love a reunion with Rush. "You know how much we think of Cooper, we just don't know what he's going to cost. When we're paying Dak what we're paying him, unfortunately we do have to go cheap there." Cowboys heading for a new face at backup quarterback. It's telling that Dallas is deliberately choosing to move off Lance, despite what would be a projected low price tag for his services, given their familiarity with him in the building. It shows how little "we think the world of" means in this day and age. This year's QB class is certainly not exactly one to behold at the top end, but there are certain intriguing prospects to be found toward the middle/end of the draft. National champion, Will Howard, will likely be available on day 3, with Alabama QB Jalen Milroe also potentially on the board come round 4. It's likely that, even if they plan drafting and developing a rookie at quarterback, the team will have to go out and find a cheap, but viable alternative to safeguard against yet another Prescott injury. Expect to see names like Mason Rudolph and Drew Lock floated as potential QB2s for the Cowboys if Rush does indeed receive the big bucks from another franchise. Cowboys contract talks with Osa Odigizua take shocking turn. Frisco. He may not receive the public acclaim of some of his teammates, but Osa Odigizua's role on the Dallas Cowboys defense has brought unquestioned value since the team selected him in the 3rd round of the 2021 NFL Draft. Odigizua has not missed a game in the last 3 seasons, becoming a monstrous asset at the center of the Cowboys' defensive front. Playing alongside the likes of DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, he has developed into somewhat of a secondary star in Dallas. Star is the key element here because his 2024 campaign has him set for a major payday once free agency opens up. Odigizua finished the season with career highs in total tackles, 47, and sacks, 4.5, remaining effective even when some bigger names, including Parsons, missed time with injury. Looking at the prospects of his free agency, they have not been all that promising from the Cowboys' perspective. Dallas has an abundance of needs across the roster that will not just be solved during the NFL Draft. They will need to reel in some pieces in free agency while working out an extension for Parsons potentially this summer. Many fans thought this combination of moving pieces combined with an existing slim margin in regard to the cap could spell the end of Odigizua's tenure at the Star. Not just yet. According to the Dallas Morning News, Cowboys COO Stephen Jones has revealed that the team has begun negotiations with their outstanding defensive tackle. "We have had negotiations with OSA," Jones said. "I just think OSA is a really good football player, he's an important piece. The team has not ruled out using the franchise or transition tag on Odugizuwa. Retaining him would be a major development not only to keep him from potentially signing with a rival team, but also solidifying the defensive tackle position that lacks any visible depth beyond Odugizuwa and Motsi Smith. David Moore also revealed in his piece an overall shift in the mindset of the team heading into free agency, noting plans that hope to see retention of Jordan Lewis and Rico Dowdle. Contract talks with Micah Parsons are expected to follow. Related, from lifer to ransom rumors persists about Cowboys' Micah Parsons focusing back to Odugizuwa, though this is a shocking turn in what many thought to be a pursuit the franchise was not willing to make. Nothing is certain yet, but there is suddenly evidence that the Cowboys may finally want to be all in. That promise last offseason fell way short of delivering in any fashion. And until there is tangible proof of that mindset this time around, not many fans will want to buy in at risk of more cheap tricks. However, given the importance of this offseason, perhaps a deal in the coming weeks for Odugizuwa gets done and the Cowboys shift from their previously passive attitude. Related. Stephen Jones gets real on Trey Lance's future with Cowboys ahead of free agency. The Dallas Cowboys took a chance and traded for failed 49ers first-rounder Trey Lance in 2023, giving up a fourth-round draft pick in exchange for the talented but inexperienced signal caller. At the time, the trade blindsided Cowboys QB Dak Prescott. But now, nearly 2 years later, Prescott received the big money deal he was after, and Dallas is joining San Francisco in giving up on Lance. We took a shot at Trey and wanted to do that. We think the world of Trey. But us having Dak signed up for the long term, I think, Lance is probably going to be looking for something different, Cowboys CEO Stephen Jones told the Dallas Morning News, explaining that he doesn't expect the 24-year-old passer to be back with the team. Through no fault of his own, Lance has now cost teams as many draft picks, 5, as he has touchdown passes in the NFL, 5. Back in 2021, the 49ers moved up from the 12th pick in the draft to the 3rd spot, which had been occupied by the Miami Dolphins, in order to draft Lance. The move cost San Francisco 3 first-round picks, in 2021, 2022, and 2023, as well as a third-round selection in 2022. Head coach Kyle Shanahan ultimately admitted the trade-up for Lance was a mistake in retrospect. The 49ers decided to pull the plug on Lance in 2023, sending the signal caller to Dallas in exchange for a fourth-round selection, the 5th draft pick traded for the opportunity to roster Lance. The Cowboys are ending their Trey Lance experiment. Although Stephen Jones has insisted that he has no remorse over the Lance trade, the Cowboys chose not to pick up the quarterback's 5th-year option, making him a free agent this offseason. Even when Prescott went down with a season-ending injury in 2024, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy decided against starting Lance, sticking with Cooper Rush under center instead. Dallas finally gave Lance a start in the season finale, long after the team had been eliminated from playoff contention. He failed to account for a touchdown through the air or on the ground in his sole start of the 2024 season, as the Cowboys lost 23-19 to the Washington Commanders in Week 18. With big money invested in Prescott and Lamb, Dallas has repeatedly warned of a quiet offseason. The Cowboys are 26th in the league in available cap space for 2025. The situation has Jones looking to the draft for Prescott's next backup. You know, I think one of our goals is to get a young quarterback in the draft. I don't know where that's going to be, Jones admitted via the Dallas Morning News. It seems like all the quarterbacks, even guys we have in the 4th round, go in the 1st. They always go so much higher than what you think, Jones added. And are you a fan? What do you think of Trey Lance leaving? Leave your opinion in the comments.